Hey familia, Miranda here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you guys some pickups that I got from the library. So I had actually posted in my community tab a poll for you guys, letting you guys know that I had hit up this one library sale, but that at the end of the month I was also going to be going to another library sale. And so I had asked you guys if you had wanted a one big haul or separate hauls. Voting was literally neck and neck, but separate hauls did win by just a tad, which I guess is a good thing because the last time I went to the other library sale, I scored big time. So we'll see what I find this time around. But for now, I'm going to be sharing with you guys what I picked up at this first library. And we'll just go ahead and call this part one, I guess. So the pricing here. Supposedly, the DVDs were $1 a piece and Blu-rays were $2 a piece. But when I went to checkout, the lady ended up giving me everything for $1 a piece. So I did end up saving some, which was awesome. But I basically got 21 titles for $21, which in my area, you really can't beat that. I did mostly get Blu-rays, a few DVDs. I will say I did not like the setup at this location. They literally had like 4 shelves, like double-sided shelves, and the movies were stacked, which I hate. I find it harder to go through movies that are stacked, and like all the Blu-rays and DVDs were mixed together and nothing was alphabetized, and the space between the shelves was so compact. It was so hard to like look for things because I was surprised at how many people actually hit up the movie section. So it was like a competition. Like I was even like having to wait just to like so somebody could move so I could get in there. So yeah. But let's go ahead and see what I got. I did get a couple of upgrades, a few things from my Amazon wish list, and then of course a bunch of blind buys because you know how it is. You see something that seems interesting, you got to get it. So let's see what I got. So starting off with the Blu-rays, the first film I have here is called Red Lights. Now, I don't really know anything about this, but it's some sort of like a psychological thriller that has to do with like psychic phenomena. So right away, that just seemed interesting to me. And plus the cast in this sold me. You got Cillian Murphy, Sigourney Weaver, Elizabeth Olsen, Toby Jones, and Robert De Niro. So yeah, you can't really go wrong with that cast. So I'm excited to check this one out. Next up is this film called The Burning Plain. This one, I mean, Charlize Theron, Kim Basinger, I love the two of them, so I had to go ahead and get this one. It's some sort of like a romantic mystery is what they're calling it. And from kind of what I read on the back, it seems like maybe they end up falling for the same guy or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, for the two of them, I had to go ahead and get this one, so I will be watching that at some point. This next one, I was super excited to find. This was literally the first film that I threw in my bag. And this one actually came as a recommendation from Stephanie over at Movie Chatter. I forget if she recommended it in a video on her channel or if it was one that she did on John's channel over at Platix 2. But it's this film called Incendies, which that's how I pronounce it, but I think she actually pronounced it differently. I think it's like actually a French word or something like that. But basically it's these two siblings that kind of go on this mission to the Middle East to track down another sibling that they did not know that they had. So it definitely just really caught my interest. So I'm definitely looking forward to checking this one out and happy to have found this one. Next up, we got some Sharon Stone in A Last Dance. I have not seen this, but who doesn't love them some Sharon Stone? This next one was actually directed by Angelina Jolie, which was kind of the main thing that caught my interest here, but also the title is kind of interesting, In the Land of Blood and Honey. So Angelina, she's only directed a handful of films, like 6 or 7, I think. But of the films that she's directed, 4 of them, including this one, have been war-based, which I find kind of interesting, that she's directed all these like war-based films. But this one actually takes place, I guess, during the Bosnian War. And I'm always down for a good war flick. This one's like some sort of a war drama, so I'm very curious to, you know, check this one out. She directed Unbroken, which I absolutely loved. So hopefully this one is decent. This next one is one that I like never see out in the open. It's just not something you find every day. It is by the same person that directed Audition, which I've been wanting to see. Ichi the Killer, I do have that one, but I have yet to see it. And then The City of Lost Souls. But just from those titles alone, those are some pretty wild films. So I'm assuming this is going to be pretty wild. Let me know if you've seen this and your thoughts on it. But it's this Sukiyaki Western Django. So it looks interesting. I'm assuming it's probably going to be pretty wild. I don't know. Again, I know nothing about this. So yeah, if you've seen it, I'm curious about your thoughts. So I'm wondering if this is going to be anything actually like Django. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird because actually in English, but as you can see, I mean, it looks like, you know, there's some Asian actors in there. So I'm surprised that it's not like, you know, in like Mandarin or Japanese or whatever. But yeah, so I am very, very curious to check this one out. All right, this next one, I didn't look into this one while I was there. I just kind of threw it in my bag. And of course, when I got home, I looked more into it. Ratings are not great at all, but I mean, for Morgan Freeman, Tommy Lee Jones, and Rene Russo, how bad can this be? Just getting started. And then I was happy to add another Marilyn into the collection, which this one was actually on my wish list. We got My Week with Marilyn. And then this one came as a recommendation, and this is Margin Call. So it's also on my wish list, so happy to cross that one off. And this next one is an upgrade, which actually I haven't even watched the DVD that I have, but I wasn't even aware that this had a Blu-ray, so that's why I got this. It is based on a true story, and it does star Angelina, and that is this film called A Mighty Heart. It's basically about this wife that she goes in search of her husband who was kidnapped by terrorists, I believe like in the Middle East. It's a true story of Wall Street Journal reporter Daniel Pearl. I don't really know anything about the story, so I can't really say much on this, but I definitely caught my interest, so I will be checking this out. Next up is Cold Creek Manor. I was happy to scratch this one off the wish list. Haven't seen this one in a very, very long time, so looking forward to revisiting. And then I did find a sealed copy of The Bucket List. I mean, you gotta love you some Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. Actually, this film, I will be honest, I never really had much interest in it, but I guess because I never really like read into it much. And so yeah, today for sure, this definitely seems like something I'd totally be into. So I'm happy to have found this one, and yeah, just kind of overlooked this, I guess, in the past. But yeah, The Bucket List got in the collection now. This next one is called Their Finest. I'd actually never heard of this one, but it takes place in 1940. I believe it takes place like during a war as well. But basically this lady here, she's like a screenwriter, and so she's writing, you know, and she does this screenwrite that's basically to inspire America during this like hard time or whatever. But some people aren't very happy because obviously she's female, and I think like the cast of it is also going to be female or something like that. So it just seems like it's right up my alley, you guys. It just seemed very interesting. Next is this film with Matthew McConaughey, and it's a film called Gold. Absolutely love this slip cover here, very shiny. But yeah, this one I'd actually never heard of, but it takes place, I guess, like in the depths of Indonesia. And obviously, I mean, it's about like finding gold, you know, out there. So got that one. This next one I've kind of always seen, but never really looked into it. And so finally decided to go ahead and pick it up. Got Tom Hanks and Sandra Bullock in Extremely Loud and Incredibly Close. And then this one I really got for the cast. I don't really know much about this film, but you got Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, and Javier Bardem in The Counselor. It says it's like an action-packed thriller, and I know it has to do with like, you know, drugs and stuff like that. So I don't know, but for the cast, I definitely want to check that one out. And then the last Blu-ray that I have here is actually an upgrade, and I did actually recently review this in my latest episode of First Viewing, and that is Admission. And I enjoyed this enough to want to upgrade it, so I was happy to be able to do so. So we're down to the DVDs. I only have a few here. So the first one, it's always nice when you can find the Walt Disney Film Classics. So I did actually come across The Absent-Minded Professor. I have never seen this and actually didn't even know about this film up until recently. So I was very happy to find this one. And this next one was actually a recent recommendation, and I'm actually really happy that I found this, especially for $1, because even on like eBay and Amazon, this doesn't come cheap. And it's this film called Kung Pao Enter the Fist. I kind of remember hearing about this one back in the day, but I never got around to watching it, so happy to have this one in the collection. This next one, I don't know if I'm going to regret this purchase or not, but I immediately saw Tommy Lee, and I had to get it. Like, how could I not? And I thought, though, that this was going to be a movie, and when I actually got home and was looking more into it, it's actually a TV show that only lasted for one season and was like only 2 hours long. But it's a Tommy Lee Goes to College. And one, like, this is just one that I never see out in the open. I've never seen anybody haul this. And like I said, for Tommy Lee, I just had to get it. I really don't know if it's going to be any good. Like I said, I was kind of a little disappointed when I found out it was a TV show and not a movie. It may just be a one and done, I'm assuming. That's if I still want to watch it. I don't know. May end up just putting it up for trade or something like that. But yeah, Tommy Lee Goes to College. And last but not least, I'm very, very excited to finally have this in the collection. It does have a Blu-ray, but it's not one that ever really like drops in price. And so I'm just not really looking to spend the $25 on the Blu-ray. It's a great 90s flick that I remember watching a lot, like all the time back in the day. But I did not have it in the collection, and I'm happy that I do now. And it's factory sealed, Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan in Sleepless in Seattle. Classic here, and it's been a long time since I've seen this. So hopefully it holds up, you guys. But yeah, I remember loving this one, you know, back in the day. So I'm excited to finally have a copy in the collection. So that is everything that I picked up at this library. The end of the month, like I said, I will be going to another one, which their setup is way, way better. And like I said, last time I did find a ton of things. So hopefully I do this time as well. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's pickups. Let me know what were your favorite pickups that I got, or if you've seen any of these films that I haven't seen, let me know your thoughts on them. Thank you guys so much for watching. Join the family if you have not, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.